Okay, hey everybody, this is Three Monkeys, again back with a continuation of our quick hits here, and this is a continuation now of what we're calling the 78 to 84 pedalboard build. And last when we were talking, we were just about starting to lay out and wire up the board for DC power. And as I said before, we were doing it with the Three Monkeys cabling system. It's available over at 3monkeyssolderless.com. And as I've stated before, it's a very simple system. There's no wire stripping involved, no tools involved. Basically, the way that you make a cable is to take yourself a knife. That's the only thing you need. One of your ends, some of the Three Monkeys cable. Cut yourself off a little bit to make yourself a clean cut. And then take your end here and literally just screw it on, thread it on. And when it's on, bottomed out, nice and tight, you're done. You just made a cable. So anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about right now is just a couple of other quick tips that I like to do when I'm putting together a board like this. As we can see, it's all lit up. Everything's working good. All of our cables were working perfectly. We didn't have any problems there. And what I want to do now is show you, to facilitate kind of getting in there, we're really nesting these pedals nice and tight together. And that's one of the advantages of the Three Monkey system, is that the profile of the plugs itself are so small, they're the smallest on the market, that they allow you to really get the pedals really close together and save your territory, your surface area here on your pedal board, which we all know is critical to getting the most amount of stuff on there as you can. All right, so the way I like to show, or the way I like to do things, and I showed you about how I like to fasten pedals. I'm not a big fan of Velcro. I think it's great stuff, and a lot of people love it, and it will really work. I just get it stuck all over myself more than on the pedal board. So what I like to use were these little solder tabs, and if you go back to the first video, you can get an explanation, see up close what they look like. When I'm actually laying out the pedal, what I like to do is remove one of the screws from one of the solder tabs so I can kind of move the pedal around, lift it up, get it out of the way so I can kind of get all the plugs in together and not have a problem with, oh, I can't fit it in there. So you keep one end screwed down. That'll keep your footprint nice so you can measure out your cable properly without guessing. And leave one up so you can move it out of the way, put your plug in, put it back down, dress it out, and you got yourself a good cable. The next thing I wanted to show you is some other stuff that you might find useful. That are these things. And these are like little wire ties that you can get over at Home Depot or Lowe's or a hardware store. They're used by electricians. You'll find them in the the electrical aisle, along with wire ties and all that kind of good stuff. And I like to use these guys, and they come in many kind of diameters in terms of the pass-through hole. And that'll be dependent upon whether you want to put one or two cables or a whole pile of cables together. And these really help keep all your cables secured together. And that's one of the principles of wiring, is that when you tie cables together, they reinforce one another. This is done in your house. It's done when I build you an amplifier. I'm doing that too with wire ties, keeping the cables together, and they tend to reinforce one another. So if you use these to kind of bundle your cables together, you're really going to help bulletproof this thing and make it very stable for touring and everything. So basically what I would do is, for instance, let's say we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cables that are running to all these boards here. What I like to do is use a big one, and I'll just kind of bend it back so it kind of has a little bit of a tongue there, so I can slide it under things like so. And then I'm going to grab one of these guys, which is just a lath screw. And you can get that at Home Depot too. They're probably in the roofing aisle or the hardware aisle. It's a number 8 1/2" that I'm using here. And it has a nice wide kind of pan head, flat on the bottom. And it has a kind of a very sharp point. So it's able to kind of cut into the wood of your pedal board and create its own hole. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of secure that down. And I'm going to use my drill, and I've got a little extension on there. And I'm going to place my screw in there. It'll hold, as you can see. Sometimes they fall out, but you can always put them back in. And then I'm going to place my finger on here, close this loop down, get it where I want it, and then I'm just going to go and neaten everything up a little bit, and then just kind of screw it down. Now you can see that's creating a tie point right there, and all those cables now are very well secured. You might find in places where you have one cable, you may not need it. You can kind of tuck these cables sometimes under a pedal or under the edge of the pedal, and that'll hold it steady there. But if you've got a big bundle of cable in one area, these wire ties are really convenient to keep everything nice and neat. Over here I've got a two. So what I might use is one of these smaller ones. And again, I'll kind of open it up and bend it so it gets a little bit of a tongue so I can slide it underneath my cable, like so. Grab myself another one of these lath screws, load it into the drill, put it on the bit, kind of put that where I want it, like so. And then I'm just going to thread the needle here, place it in place, and then tie it down. And it's really that simple. So then you're going to have everything nice and secure for you. All right, so I think we're about done with the DC wiring of this. I'm going to start turning, and we've also obviously got this loop box wired up as well. I think I'm going to go and shut it down. And then we're going to start on doing the AC signal side. And to do that, I think I'm going to go with, I don't know, maybe green. That's kind of cool. It's kind of, gives you that kind of, green and red look, or maybe the yellow. That's pretty cool. Or black. It's a tough choice. Come back and you'll see which one I picked. I hope you found this kind of informative. Got a couple of interesting ideas, or maybe it was just something to do while you're eating your sandwich during lunch. Anyway, you can check us out, 3 Monkeys Solderless, and thanks for watching.